Going good.
Are you taking a lot of classes?
Yeah, I'm in 5.
Holy smoke.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it done in 1 year. This is my last year of ball, so I'm trying to do it 5 this semester, 5 next semester, and get the heck out of here. It's a lot of work, but it's doable.
Where are you going to go?
Don't know. I'm looking into a couple different places. I want to move down south somewhere, Nashville or Austin or somewhere like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Need a little change of scenery.
Yeah. Buffalo can. Where are you now?
I'm in Allegheny, but I grew up in Amherst.
Oh, sorry. Well, I don't know who else is going to come. Why don't we wait a few minutes and
Yeah, that's fine. Did you put the grades out for the midterm? I forgot to look.
I don't know. Don't tell me I've got more grading to do.
Well, I know the one came back on its own. Part 1 came back on its own because it was the multiple choice. Yeah, it says part 2 says not graded yet.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's my bad.
Yeah, no, it's all right.
Oh, I'm like, um,
I shouldn't even said anything. I didn't even think I did too hot on that part.
no. This is a long time ago. I was sure I graded this. I did grade this.
Oh,
This was Thursday, the 19th of November. This is like, hang on a minute, okay?
yeah.
All right, I'm sorry.
No big deal. It's fine.
I thought for sure I had graded that, and even when I look at some of them, I think I remember doing this. But I don't seem to, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to really look at that and look at it again,
Yeah, no big deal.
Hi, Jerry.
Hey, how are you, everyone?
Good.
Good.
Looks like it's the three of us again.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
So I apologize for jumping on a little late. I guess my just have a couple questions. Is the final kind of like the midterm in terms of how it breaks out or scope of the test?
Yeah, let me have a look. Hang on, okay? Yeah, Andrew,
Yeah.
I've got grades in here. I've got grades in here for midterm part 2.
Oh, I don't see mine on. Maybe it's just not on my SBU online page. I don't know. I don't. Unless I'm looking in the wrong spot. Maybe it's. I'm looking where I submitted it. Maybe I need to look at the actual grading section.
Maybe.
I don't know. Is there one of
I
those?
don't know, but I did grade them and I posted the grades.
Oh, okay.
Freaking
Yeah, it would
me
definitely
out.
be under the grades part.
Do you see yours, Jerry?
Oh yeah, no, I saw that right. Yeah, you graded those right away.
Yeah, I thought I did. Jesus. Andrew, you're freaking me out.
Oh
man.
no, I see it now. I'm sorry, man. My bad.
I'm like,
I looked under where I submitted it. Usually, like it pops up in both spots.
I mean, I'm a half-assed professor, but I'm not that half-assed. All right, let's see if we can answer Jerry's question. Something about a final exam you're going to have? I don't know.
Yeah, just
Final exam, part 1. Is multiple choice questions. Oh, this is wrong. I got to fix this. Slow internet. There are 30 multiple choice questions. And then the final opens. You have 1 hour to do that 30 questions.
okay.
The quiz will open at midnight tonight, I guess, and close on Sunday at 11:45 p.m.
Okay.
30 questions, and you have 1 hour.
Okay.
And part 2 is 8 questions, but you are only required to answer any 6 of those 8. How about that for being a generous person?
Wow.
Cool.
Do you get
You
extra
will-
credit if you do all 8?
No.
No.
You will be required to download the test document, print it out, and then re-upload the document with your work and answers clearly indicated. It would behoove you to have a reliable method ready for uploading your test document prior to beginning the exam. You have 2 hours to do this part. It opens tonight at midnight and closes Sunday at 11:45, and you have 2 hours.
Are both sections cumulative for the year?
Yes.
Sounds good to me.
All right. In terms of, I did have one specific, I don't want to jump ahead, Andrew, if you had a question.
Oh, go ahead. I was just kind of jumping in on this just because, so.
Okay. I wanted to ask you about the homework for week 4. I had a little trouble figuring it out. So I was hoping you could kind of walk me through it and see where I was wrong.
Okay. Week 4.
There were 2 there. Actually, both were kind of messing me up. There's one on risky portfolios, and the other one was on index models, I believe. Yeah. I never asked back then. It's a good thing it wasn't on the midterm, but I couldn't figure those out.
A pension fund manager is considering 3 mutual funds. The first is a stock, long-term government and corporate bonds, and the third is a T-bill money market fund that yields 8%. All right. All right, gonna have to clear some room on my desk for this one. What chapter is this, do you know?
I can tell you,
I
it's.
think it says, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's either 7 or 8. I think it's 7. I mean, you don't need to walk me through every aspect of the math. I just wanted to understand what formula am I using to kind of, or formulas am I using to figure this out? I was having a hard time backing into the number.
Okay,
Oh, God, sorry.
Stop it.
Sorry.
Jerry, I'm going to take a picture of this and then send it to myself and then share it.
Okay.
Well, I just stood up without thinking whether or not I had pants on.
Oh.
This COVID has really honed our technology skills, right?
Yes, it has.
Yeah.
Been working from home for like 10 months now. It's weird.
My dad's been doing it for like 30 years.
Working from home. Oh,
Yeah.
he's got a system that he knows what he's doing. This is
Yeah, he didn't miss a beat when this whole thing started.
I have like 100 employees and none of them have seen me in 10 months, except for Zoom.
Right.
Okay, let's see if that shows up. Okay, Jerry, can you see?
Yep.
Three mutual funds, the T-bills, they return 8%, stocks
Mhm.
return 20%, bonds return 12%. Correlation between them is 10%.
Okay.
Standard deviation is 30 and 15. What are the investment proportions in a minimum variance portfolio? So we need the covariance to do this. We have correlation, which is 10 times the standard deviation of one and the standard deviation of the other. So that gives us the covariance of 45. So the optimal weight in the debt asset is the variance of the equity minus the covariance between the returns on stock and bonds, which we said was 45, right?
Okay.
And the variance of the stock divided by the variance of the stock plus the variance of the bonds minus 2 times the covariance. So that's the formula. So the weight in debt would be 0.8261.
Okay.
So you could then obviously just say, hey, the weight in equity would be 1 minus 0.8261.
Mhm.
Or you could flip these around and say, I want the weight in equity, therefore it's the standard deviation of debt minus the covariance. So I'm recording this and I'll post the recording so you can see this later.
Okay.
So maybe I'll just talk you through it, right?
Okay.
So
Oh,
you have the optimal weights in the minimum variance, which is different than the optimal portfolio. Yeah,
So the question's asking for the optimal weight of if you're looking for the minimum variance, which is
Yeah.
different from what an optimal, okay, gotcha, okay.
yeah, that's different than the optimal portfolio, and the formula is different.
Okay,
It's actually part of the key equations in chapter 7.
mhm,
It gives you right before the problems, it gives you key equations in the chapter.
okay, right,
That one is there. But anyway, so the expected value and the standard deviation of the rate of return. So the expected rate of return is the weight on debt times the return on debt plus the weight in equity times the return on equity. We just figured out the weights.
okay,
And then we knew the returns were 12 and 20%. So the minimum variance portfolio is returning 13.39%.
okay,
And then it asks us, what's the variance of the portfolio? And then you have this big formula. The weight in debt squared times the variance of debt squared plus the weight of equity squared times the variance of equity squared plus 2 times the weight of equity times the weight of debt times the covariance. So we got these weights and we got the returns. We plug that into the formula. We do the math. We have a variance, and then we want standard deviation,
okay.
which is just simply the square root of the variance, right?
Yeah, that's straightforward. Yeah.
And so that's the next question asks you to do this in increments of 20%. So all I do is say, hey, we got the returns on equity and the returns on debt, right? 20 and 12.
Mhm.
And we just swap the weights for 0 to 100, 20 and 80, 40 and 60, 60 and 40, 80 and 20. And then you calculate the standard deviation
form?
using that same formula.
Okay,
And then the next one says, solve numerically for proportions of each asset in the optimal portfolio. So this is a different formula,
mhm,
but it's the same stuff. It's the expected return on debt minus the risk-free rate times the variance of the equity, 30% squared, minus the expected return on equity minus the risk-free rate, 20 minus 8, times, so here I just have sigma debt, which is standard deviation of debt, and standard deviation of equity times the correlation. That's the formula. But here I've simply put the covariance
which is the
because
same.
this is equal to the covariance.
Okay,
And then the bottom is the same, they just fill in the blanks, right? So this is the optimal portfolio, and this gives you the weight in debt and the weight in equity. So you guys on board so far?
yeah, so far so good.
Yep.
Okay, so then you just calculate just like we did for the minimum variance, and we have 15.61 and and then what's the Sharpe ratio? This is just the expected return over risk-free divided by the variance of the portfolio, which we just figured out up here, 16.583. So what's happening here? Sorry. we're conducting, you're calculating if you had an efficient frontier, something that looked like this, right?
Mhm.
This portfolio over here is minimum variance,
Right.
but there's some portfolio up here that's tangent to a line from the risk-free rate. Sorry,
Yeah, I know what it's supposed to look like.
teaching with an Etch-a-Sketch, you know?
And where that intersects, that's the optimal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There you go. How's that?
There you go.
So this portfolio up here is the optimal, and this portfolio down here is the minimum variance.
Got it.
And
Okay, that makes sense.
you can solve for both of them numerically, although they're really traditionally calculus problems.
Calculus was a long time ago. Don't give me any calculus, please.
Yeah, we're not
I
gonna.
never even took calculus.
All right, guys, what else?
I'm good.
All right. I do have one other question. So my other question is really the second homework problem from week 4, which is talking about index funds. I just want to make sure I understand the answers correctly. So do you need to pull that up before I ask the question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, so when it gives the 2 drawings and it says that stock A and stock B, and I'm assuming A is on the left and B is on the right.
Yeah.
It's not labeled that way. So when it talks about the firm specific risk, I mean, I know the answer is A because it's more staggered, but can you just explain why that drawing has, why this, I guess, more of the staggered kind of plot lines are symbolic of a higher firm specific risk? I think that's the part that I really didn't understand, because the B they seem to correlate with each other. They're not far off what the line is. So I just wanted to make sure I understood that concept correctly. Is it when you have these variables that are further off the plot line that it's more a firm specific issue as opposed to a systemic issue?
Yes. The plots are if you were to look at a CAP-M, a regression equation,
Mhm.
and so you have a couple of components in the regression, right? You have an intercept, beta, an intercept, which is alpha,
Okay.
and then you have a beta, which is the a risk of the market for that stock, right?
Okay.
And then you have an error term, right? In any regression, right?
Okay.
So the beta is a measure of risk of the stock attributable to the market, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the error term then is the risk in a stock attributable to firm-specific things. So in other words, in the regression equation, it's a measure of how are your returns scattered about the regression line. So we can characterize that as firm specific, as in they don't affect all the firms in the market. They only affect that firm. So a picture of your stock that shows a lot of variability in the residuals is going to reflect a firm specific risk. In other words, they have a lot of things like fires in the warehouse and heart attacks that the CEOs have heart attacks and, they get sued a lot and stuff like that.
Okay.
Does that help?
A little bit. So in terms of market risk, which is the second, so is that just, so the second picture, which shows the most, the higher market risk, is that based off of the consistency and the plot lines being off of that line, or is it because of the slope?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, it's because of the slope.
It's a slope. What you're looking at is the return on the market on the horizontal line and the return of your stock on the vertical axis.
Okay.
So the slope of that line is really steep, indicating that your stock has a very high beta.
Okay.
So it's really risky relative to the market. But it has very little firm-specific risk.
Because they're all right along, they seem to follow the same
Yes.
pattern roughly.
Well, they do, because the error term or the residuals are fairly tightly bunched around your regression line. This is how we can characterize risk as either being market risk or firm-specific risk.
Okay. That does clarify. No, that clarifies it for me.
Good. I can see it's a little bit shady, but I think it's hard to do. If we were in a classroom, I could write right on the board and get animated about it. But
yeah, I think I need to go over this section again and just make sure I'm clear on it, because it was a little foggy when we went through the chapters, and now it's still a little foggy, but I got to go back and do a deeper dive into it.
okay, good.
Okay.
You guys enjoyed the course?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of great, I was looking forward to it from the beginning. There's a lot of good content in it. The projects are, I haven't started the last one, but the projects were all very insightful. So I enjoyed those.
The last one is just the movie, watch a movie.
Well, that's easy.
But you got to pay for the movie, I think. I don't mind if you don't watch it and don't pay for it,
No, it's part of the, but I haven't even looked up what it is.
Oh, no, I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm not. That's the other course.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, the last one was pretty straightforward. It was probably the shortest one that took me the shortest amount of time to do.
I think the last one is a put call parity.
Yeah, yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's very straightforward.
Yeah, it didn't take me very long.
No.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I still have to do that, but the other ones, the ones that I did complete, I thought they were, they were helpful. They were even helpful in my personal life and looking at,
Yeah, I just wish it was a 15-week class and not all jammed into 7. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah, the class is over before you know it.
I know. I feel like we just started.
All right.
Andrew, did you find your grade on the midterm?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Okay, good. All right, guys. If that's it, then good luck.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. If I have any other questions, I'll shoot you an email. But I appreciate you doing the review because at least
No
gives me an
problem.
opportunity to ask some questions.
My pleasure.
All right.
All right,
Thank
see
you, Professor.
Okay, have a good luck on the test and have good holidays.
Thank
All right.
you.
You too.